Alright, so I know it's been forever and a half since I've posted anything Yu-Gi-Oh related, but I have this deck, and it's good, but it's not great. You Yu-Gi-Oh peoples know exactly what I mean when I say that, and basically I want you guys to help me out with it a bit. For those of you who keep up with NoelTheDivineOne, he's made the Immortal Obelisk decks, posted them on YouTube. I am PyroTakun, I am the teammate that gave him that idea, and he has his own version, I have my own version. The basic concept is the same, Hardened Armed Dragon, and then drop Obelisk. But let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, first up, 2 Trags. Trag is just a beast. Like, I shouldn't even have to explain it at this point. We all know how Trag works, basically. He's a monster. Alright, 2 Light and Darkness. Light and Darkness is a good stall card. I mean, yeah, he's just great for stalling, you know, forcing your opponent to basically waste his cards and stuff. And you know, we all know how Lad works, and he is 8 stars, so that's good. Oh, Trag's also basically, both of these are high-level heavy hitters, and they do have enough stars for Hardened Arm's special summon effect. 2 Jinzos. Now, why 2 Jinzos? I fucking hate trap cards. I really do. So, Jinzos are there for field control. I mean, level 6, he's very easy to just, you know, summon on the field. And, well, I'll show you how easy it is to summon with the other cards. But he's very easy to get on the field. And like I said, just a bit of field control with no traps. You know, just 2400 is a pretty decent beater. So people do have to get over that. Gores. Now, Gores is only 7 stars. He's not enough for the Hardened Arm special summon effect. But he's just too good to not run, especially in this deck, like I said, which is very focused around hand effects. Well, I don't know if I said that yet. Crap. Well, this deck is really focused around hand effects, so Tragodia, Gores, and like, Gores is too good. I should not have to explain any of these cards to you guys. Blackluster Soldier, Envoy at the beginning, again, no explanation. I mean, this deck has, it feels kind of like Chaos. It has a lot of light and darks, so getting a Blackluster Soldier out there is like not a problem, and even if you can't get it out there, it's not exactly dead in your hand, because level 8, Hardened Arm special summon. Alright, triple Faders. Like I said, a lot of hand effects in this deck. And Faders is just good drops, you know, end the battle phase. And then you have a monster on the field, and like I said, that's where it's really easy to just summon Jinzo. Just, your turn comes by, sack a Fader, Jinzo. Pretty decent field control. Next card, triple Spell Strikers. Okay, I don't think this is too popular of a card. Basically, Spell Striker, he is ridiculously awesome. Level 3, so you can normal summon him, but it's way easier just to special summon him, in my opinion. You special summon him by removing from play 1 spell, and then he can attack your opponent's life points directly, only 600 attack, like big whoop, who cares? But probably another really cool part about his effect is you take no battle damage when you have Spell Striker. If your opponent attacks Spell Striker, there's no battle damage involved. So he's just really, really good. And very easy to special summon since you just have to remove from play a spell. And basically, this deck is a lot of hand effects and a bit of swarming, like this guy, just to get Obelisk out there on the field. 2 Effect Veilers. Like I said, lots of hand effects. You know, Light Monster. So, all that good jazz. We all know what Effect Veiler does. 1 Quick Draw. Again, Quick Draw. Come on, guys. We know what this does. 1 Quick Draw, 1 Dandy. Yes, you know where that's going. Drill Warrior, which is very useful for this deck, because like you go through a lot of cards, like I said, hand effects and everything, so it's always good to get those cards back to your hand. So, Quick Draw, Dandy. And of course, we know Dandy is really versatile. You know, use it for sacks, or let's say I have Obelisk on the field, and I do like a, you know, I basically do a, what's it, Foolish? Send Dandy to the grave, then I got 2 tokens that I can just sack for Obelisk effect. Alright. Sangan. I should not have to explain this to anyone. This is one of the oldest cards in the book. I mean, Sangan's just too good. He can pretty much pull out, he can save your ass. He can really pull out most of these cards. You know, like pull out Dandelion, pull out Hardened Arms, pull out a Fader if you really need to. So, Sangan. Gotta run him. The only downside is if you summon Obelisk and sacrifice Sangan, you don't get his effect. So, yep. Morphing Jar. Now, this is a very odd decision. I think I might change it, but I've been, you know, I threw it in there, played around with it. Basically, Morphing Jar is there for when you have dead hands, because this deck, I mean, no deck's perfect. You get dead hands, and it is a very odd decision because this deck's very hand-focused. So this might change, but it's in there for now. 2 Hardened Armed Dragons. Now we're getting to the heart of the deck. The Hardened Armed Dragon, a lot of people don't know what the hell this is or what the hell it does. So let me explain it real quick. Level 4 Earth Monster, 1500 attack, 800 defense, and that's probably the main problem, the attack. You can bottomless this. If it was 1400, that would have been perfect. Anyways, Dragon, obviously, Hardened Armed Dragon. His effect reads, you can send 1 level 8 or higher monster from your hand to the graveyard and special summon this card. So like I said, Tragodia, Light and Darkness, if Blackluster Soldier's dead in your hand, use that. If you have 2 obelisks, go ahead. Blah, blah, blah. If you tribute this card for the tribute summon of a level 7 or higher monster, that monster cannot be destroyed by card effects. Now you guys, now the wheels should be turning. You guys should see where this is going. 2 Obelisks the Tormentor. Now, Obelisk is a beast of a monster by himself, but once you sacrifice Hardened Armed Dragon to get Obelisk out, he is not invincible. There's always ways to get around everything, but Obelisk basically becomes ridiculously hard to stop. So, Obelisk effect reads, you must tribute 3 monsters to normal summon this card. You cannot set it. The normal summon of this card cannot be negated. When this card is normal summoned, spells, traps, and effect monster effects cannot be activated. So, like I said, going back to Sangan, you don't get his effect when you summon Obelisk. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, crap, where was I at? This card cannot be targeted by the effects of spell, traps, or effect monsters. Now, this is a really important part of the effect, because once you combine that part with the fact it can't be destroyed by card effects either, this is really hard to get around. Like spells and traps and most spells, traps, and monster effects are basically useless when going against this. Well, if you sacrifice Hardened Armed. Blah. Oh crap, where was I? If this card is special summoned, it is sent to the graveyard during the end phase. You can tribute 2 monsters to destroy all monsters your opponent controls. This card cannot declare an attack the turn this is activated. So, basically every part of his effect I find very useful, and I'll get to the other effects and how I use them. But anyways, those are the monsters. I did not do a count. My bad. Maybe when you guys were keeping count. So now we're getting to the spells. Now the first spell choice I have is weird in itself. Triple Gold Sarkos. Gold Sarko, it's really good because you can pick out any card in your deck that you want. Unfortunately, 2 turns in this format, well, the most recent formats anyways, is an eternity. It is ridiculously slow. It really is. But Gold Sarko, like I said, the advantage is you get to pick out any card you want. 2 turns later, you get it. 2 turns may be too late, but I do like Gold Sarcophagus. And I think between the Faders, the Trags, and all that good stuff, this deck can hold out for 2 turns. So, alright. Well, what am I doing? Leave that there. Alright, 2 Soul Exchanges. Obviously, this is ridiculously good for this deck. So you Soul Exchange one of your opponent's monsters, so you don't really have to have 3 monsters on the field, as long as you get 2, like Hardened Armed, like, it's really easy to get Hardened Armed, Spell Striker, and then just Soul Exchange. And then of course, if you do Soul Exchange, you can't attack that turn, or you can't declare an attack that turn if you use Soul Exchange. So that's where that Obelisk effect comes in. Sack 2 monsters on, your side of the field to destroy all your opponent's monsters, and he can't attack anyways, so yeah, pretty good card, for definitely useful for getting over your opponent's key monsters. 1 Shallow Grave. I used to have multiples of these in here, and it was just too ridiculous. This is a blast from the past. Most of you guys probably don't know what this does. Basically, each player takes 1 monster card from their respective graveyard and special summons them on the field in face down defense position. So this is really good for getting Hardened Armed onto the field without having to worry about him getting bottomless or anything like that. Now, here's the very interesting thing with Shallow Grave. I'll explain to you guys. You can use this on Obelisk. It will be special summoned face down, so technically it's not a set. It's special summoned, so that's totally legit. And since Obelisk will not be face up on the field for his effect to resolve, he will stay on the field. So use Shallow Grave, Obelisk is there on the field. He stays on the field. His effect cannot resolve where he destroys himself during the end phase. He is special summon. And then you can flip summon him and he stays. Not Immortal Obelisk, but it is a very easy way to get Obelisk on the field. If you want to try a Turbo Obelisk deck, I highly recommend Shallow Grave. Now the downside is both you and your opponent get to bring back something, so that's something you want to look out for. Although this is really good, like let's say I Shallow Grave, Hardened Armed, and then use Soul Exchange as well to take their monster they just summoned. You know, too easy. Rhoda, Reinforcement of the Army. I think there's only one monster in this deck I can use this on, that's Spell Striker, but like it's so easy just to, you know, Rhoda, slim down a card, and then, you know, just remove Rhoda from play to special summon Spell Striker. Instant special summon, basically. Pot of Duality, you guys know what this does. Now, I know you can't special summon the turn you activate this, but, you know, the ability to go through your cards, or the top 3 cards, you know, and pick one, add it to your hand, is just really good. This deck needs more search and draw power. Pot of Avarice, I shouldn't need to tell you guys why this is here. I mean, this, like the rest of my spells are pretty staple. Pot of Avarice, Book of Moon, 2 versatile, can save your Hardened Arm from a bottomless. You know, if you have Jinzo on the field, you can still use Book of Moon to, you know, mess up your opponent and everything. Allure of Darkness, staple pretty much. I mean, draw 2 cards, come on. Dark Hole, if you do Hardened Arm, sack Hardened Arm for Obelisk, you can Dark Hole the field and just wreck your opponent with Obelisk. So beautiful. Monster Reborn, no explanation. Heavy Storm does not need an explanation. Foolish Burial, it does not need an explanation. You can just instantly send something to the grave, like Hardened Arm, then Shallow Grave, or just, you know, Dandy, or, yeah, come on. I should not have to explain this. And I only have one trap card, and that is Call the Haunted. And that's just there because, you know, special summon from the grave. Like, you can Call the Haunted Jinzo, we know how that works. Call the Haunted brings back Jinzo, and then Jinzo cancels out Call the Haunted, so if this is destroyed, Jinzo stays. It's not there just for Jinzo, obviously, it's just, you know, another way to special summon from the grave. That's the main deck. I don't want to get into the side or extra. Obviously, the extra deck does have a couple Drill Warriors, which I forgot to take out and lay down. But, yeah, this is the main deck. This is what I want to focus on, the main deck first, and then, of course, we can worry about sides and extra. So, anyways, there you guys have it. Here is my version of the Immortal Obelisk deck. Like I said, it runs decent to good, but I would not say it runs great, and I need some help to make it run better. Alright, so anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what needs to be changed. Am I dumb for even trying to run this deck? Just let me know. PyroTakun out.